Today, we're at the Lillian H Smith branch of the Toronto Public Library system. And we're here because of a revolutionary book that was published 200 years ago. A book that has influenced art, literature, and culture. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. In honor of the bicentennial of Shelley's Frankenstein, the Toronto Public Library has organized a special exhibit called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, 200 Years of Mad Science. Our guide to the exhibit is Kimberly Hull, the curator.
So this is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, 200 Years of Mad Science. And I wanted to talk about the whole 200 years of the influence of the novel on literature and this particular genre. It's widely considered to be the first science fiction novel, although not everybody would agree with that. But we had someone on the panel a couple of weeks ago, Professor Weiss, comment that it is considered the first science fiction novel because it's the first novel that the action is initiated by science. The first case is just direct offshoots, variations on the Frankenstein story, and I called it alternate Frankensteins, and it's basically what if the events of the story had played out a little bit differently, or if the start of the story was different. What if we start the story before Victor actually becomes a scientist? What if he's much younger? A lot of them are supposing that either Victor Frankenstein or the creature survive their encounter on the ice, and that the monster does not go off to commit suicide, and that they both live a very long time and meet at some point in the future. And I used robots for this one because robots have been around in popular culture for almost 100 years at this point, and the automata, mechanical inventions have been around for a lot longer than that, but they really became sort of enter the public consciousness as entities really in the 1920s and 30s, and people became concerned about what if they become intelligent? What can they do? They can be stronger than we are. They can be faster, and but on the other hand, there are creations. And as I say, one of the themes in Frankenstein is that Victor has abandoned his responsibilities to the creature. He is the creature's father and his creator, and he abandons the creature because he's so repelled by it. And that is possibly, most likely, in part, what turns the creature to choose evil over good. So this one I did not have a centerpiece of a Frankenstein edition, although I could have used some surgical scenes. But cyborgs are part human and part machine, and they do range from, you might have an artificial hand, and of course we have Senator Tammy Duckworth in the United States has two artificial legs, and so it can be as simple as that, or it can be, in the case of Ghost in the Shell, it's only the brain and the spinal column that are human. The rest is implanted into an artificial body. And this one, I have an overriding theme of Frankenpeople, and so that one is metal and flesh. This one's what's bred in the bone, and it's primarily genetic engineering. And so this is a woodcut, and this is the scene on the ice, and where the monster approaches Victor, and he says, "I suddenly beheld the figure of a man at some distance, advancing towards me with superhuman speed. He bounded over the crevices in the ice, among which I had walked with caution. His stature, also as he approached, seemed to exceed that of man." So they are, once again, they're bigger, they're stronger, but they're still organic. Another of the Franken people cases, spare parts and disposable bodies. And this one I found actually, the books in the case are the most heart-wrenching, I think, of all of them. So disposable humans aren't people. They are property, they are tools, commodities, slave labor, expendable soldiers, spare parts, or a change of clothes that can be discarded when they are damaged. Some come with an expiry date. Many stories about disposable people explore the ethics of creating beings who are treated as objects. So this is the final thematic case where we have, this is the referred to as often the Barry Moser edition. This once again is woodcut, and it's based on a woodcut edition that he did for Pennyroyal Press. This is a lithographed edition by the University of California. So this is his interpretation of the monster, or the creature. It's the final scene from Blade Runner, where you have, the Roy Batty's final scene. Roy Batty being the main antagonist, and he's the replicant who, in the final battle, his final fight with Deckard, who's the protagonist, he actually rescues Deckard, pulls him up off of, he's dangling over the edge of a building, and pulls Deckard up. So he shows the empathy that he's not supposed to show. So is he actually human? And then his final speech is, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched C-beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhäuser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time like tears in rain. Time to die.